All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Meralco Power Up Live, Empowering Business Growth. Power Up Live is a webinar series which aims to empower businesses with a power demand between 5 to 499 kilowatts through energy services and solutions. My name is Kevin La Peña, and I will be your host for this afternoon's program. Continuous and safe operations is critical to the stability and success of any business. But this may be hampered by poor power quality. Today, we shall learn about the importance of power quality and why managing and maintaining it should be a top priority for any business. For this afternoon's webinar, our experts from Meralco and MServe will help you understand what power quality is all about, how you can avoid common power quality issues, and the solutions that can help you manage these issues. Rest assured that you can always count on Meralco to help you operate safely, efficiently, and cost-effectively. So we hope that you will listen attentively and participate in the discussions with our panel of experts. But before we proceed with today's presentations, I just want to check how you guys are doing so far. So with that, may I please invite everybody to click on the Reactions tab at the bottom of your screen and select the emoji that best represents how you are feeling this afternoon. So just to get a quick feel of the room, there you go. Lots of positive emojis already floating around. Thank you very much. But it's worth mentioning that you can click on these emojis at any point during the course of this webinar para po malaman natin how you feel at that point of our program. Okay? So we hope that you will stay tuned and remain engaged all throughout our webinar for this afternoon. As in the past, before we move on with our program, we'd like to remind everybody to find a good spot where your internet signal is quite strong, because we wouldn't want you to miss out on the interesting discussions and activities. And if you have any comments or questions about the presentations, please go ahead and type them in the Q&A tab so we can address these during our panel discussion later on. Should you have any account-related concerns, you may also send your messages through the link that we will be sending into the chat box, okay? And as always, to add fun to our Power Up Live session, we're going to be playing some trivia games. Just make sure to listen attentively so that you can answer the questions at the end of each of our presentations. Our lucky winners will be receiving very special prizes care of Meralco, and we're going to be announcing our list of lucky winners towards the end of this afternoon's program, okay? And with that, let's get this webinar officially started. To formally welcome everyone to today's Meralco Power Up Live webinar, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Meralco Biz Metro South Zone Officer, Ms. Kim Gabilo.
Thank you for the introduction, Kevin. A very pleasant afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for finding time in your busy schedule to join today's webinar on power quality. This topic is very important for businesses as it heavily impacts business operations and energy efficiency. Issues related to power quality can lead to problems such as equipment damage, productivity losses, and safety hazards. We at Meralco Biz, the segment dedicated to providing end-to-end energy solutions to businesses with a power demand of 5 to 499 kilowatts, are committed to offering you energy solutions that can improve your day-to-day operations. Whether your concern is about power quality, electrical safety, or energy efficiency, we have tailor-fit solutions matched with the specific needs of your businesses. So we hope that today you will learn a lot from our webinar. We are looking forward to collaborate with you, and together, let's power a brighter tomorrow for your businesses. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
There you have it. Maraming salamat din po sa inyo, Ms. Kim. Thank you very much for welcoming everybody to today's webinar. Okay, so I think Ms. Kim put it very, how do you say this, very well when she summarized what to expect with today's discussion. So I hope all of you get to pay attention, because later on, titingnan po natin by way of our trivia games that we're going to be playing. Okay, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's call in our first speaker for this afternoon. He will discuss what power quality is and common issues affecting it. So with that, let's all welcome our energy services specialist from Meralco. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual round of applause for Mr. Al Torres.
Thank you for the introduction, Kevin. Again, I'm Al Torres from Energy Services team of Meralco. And this afternoon, I will be preparing a presentation about everything about power quality. So next slide, please. Here's the outline of my presentation. I will be discussing what is power quality and its parameters and limits. Then I will also discuss different types of power quality issues. Next slide, please. First, let's define power quality. Next slide. So as defined by Philippine Distribution Code, power quality is the quality of voltage, including its frequency and the resulting current that are measured in the distribution utility during normal condition. So just like when we're buying a product or a service. So pag bumibili tayo ng cellphone, di ba? So we have criteria that we use to evaluate the quality of the product or service. So for most of us, we equate power quality to reliability. So at a flick of a switch, we expect that our equipment would be working immediately and continuously. So although the common misconception on power quality is that it only pertains to the supply voltage. So kaya nga laging nasisisi si Meralco, no? But in essence, power quality deals with the compatibility of the supply and the end use equipment. Next slide, please. So power quality is also relative to the sensitivity of a device, equipment, or system. So take note that we can still experience power quality problem even though all PQ parameters are within acceptable standard limits. So especially if we are using mismatch equipment. So that's why it is very important for the customer to consider the utility service standard before purchasing end-use equipment. So typical examples are the use of 50 hertz motor. We all know here in the Philippines that the standard frequency is 60 hertz. So that's why it will be prone to power quality problem. No? And using 380 volts rated equipment in a 400 volts nominal system voltage. So please note that bridging incompatibility usually entails cost. So kailangan pa natin bumili ng mga AVR, UPS to operate yung mga mismatch equipment natin. Next slide. Yeah. So who is responsible for power quality? So the answer is we all are. Maintaining, next slide please. Maintaining PQ is a joint effort. So ensuring power quality entails the concerted effort of stakeholders. It is not the responsibility of only one party. No? So dapat tulungan yung distribution utility, end user, and the equipment manufacturer. So for a distribution utility like Meralco, we should ensure that all PQ parameters are within standard limits. So for our case, we are using the Philippine Distribution Code as the basis of our standards. So in addition, the distribution utility should also conduct line maintenance activities to ensure reliability of the line. So for the end user, they must ensure that all the end use equipment are compatible in terms of rating and equipment tolerance. While for the equipment manufacturer, they must conform with the tolerance specified by the standard. So usually kung sa Philippine Distribution Code, plus minus 10%, dapat yung mga equipment manufacturers natin, yung tolerance ng equipment nila, plus minus 10% din. So next slide please. end user and the distribution utility should work hand in hand. Now, the Meralco meter is the point of connection based on the Philippine Distribution Code. So basically, siya yung delineation natin, no? Meter upstream is the responsibility of the distribution utility, while meter downstream is the considered load side and is the responsibility of the end user. Next slide. So let me share with you the parameters and limits based on Philippine Distribution Code. So the first parameter is the frequency. Frequency shall be 60 Hertz with the allowable variation of 59.7 to 60.3 Hertz. Next parameter is the service voltage. So the allowable limit is plus minus 10% of the service voltage, either for the secondary voltage customers or primary metered customers. Next parameter is the voltage total harmonic distortion and current total demand distortion. So based from the Philippine Distribution Code, the limits is 5%. While lastly, the voltage and balance, and the limits is 2.5%. So let me share with you the different types of power quality issues. So these are the common power quality problems. One is the voltage variation problem. Next is the voltage and balance problem. Next is the harmonic problem. And lastly, the voltage sag problem. So let's discuss first the voltage variation problem. So same with the supply voltage, equipment must operate satisfactorily within the plus minus 10% voltage variation of the distribution utility's nominal service voltage. However, the problem will arise if the supply and the equipment rating does not match. So common scenario is the use of 220 volts rated equipment on a 230 nominal service voltage. Also common in a manufacturing setup is the use of 440 volts rated equipment on a 460 volts nominal. So pagka hindi match yung equipment natin, very prone siya sa voltage variation problem. So let me illustrate a sample voltage variation problem brought about by a mismatched equipment rating. So say this is a voltage variation of a 400 volt supply. So the red lines are the upper and the lower limit, and the line 1, 2 and 3 are the red, yellow and blue lines. So we can say that the voltage is normal and within the plus minus 10% limits. So we can assume that the equipment will operate satisfactorily given these voltage values. However, if we are using 380 volts rated equipment, you will notice that there are instances of overvoltage on the point of view of the end-use equipment. So even though earlier we agreed that the voltage supply is still within the acceptable limits, it will cause overvoltage problem on the equipment because of the voltage mismatch issue. So these voltage mismatch problem are very common nowadays. Next is voltage and balance. So voltage and balance is critical for three-phase loads. So as defined by the Philippine Distribution Code, voltage and balance is the maximum deviation from the average of three-phase voltages divided by the average of three-phase voltages expressed in percent. So high voltage and balance may result to excessive heating on motor windings. And based from the Philippine Distribution Code, the maximum voltage and balance should be below 2.5% at the point of connection. Typical causes of voltage imbalance are the following: unbalanced distribution of single-phase loads, unstable system neutral, and one-phase out power supply. High voltage imbalance may result to excessive heating of three-phase loads. Next is harmonic problem. Harmonic problems are waveform distortion brought about by nonlinear loads, such as variable frequency drives, uninterruptible power supplies, and computer power supplies. Based from the Philippine Distribution Code, the prescribed limit for voltage total harmonic distortion is 5%. The advent of electronic equipment increased the harmonic problem in our electrical facility. The usual effect of harmonic are losses due to heating, failure in control and monitoring, and even incorrect operation of electronic equipment. So kadalasan nga sinasabi nila, no, yung mga electronic equipment, sila yung nagpo-produce ng harmonics, at the same time, sila rin yung naaapektuhan ng harmonic problem. And lastly, voltage sag problems. So voltage sag is considered the most common power quality problem. In layman's term, voltage sag is commonly referred to as voltage fluctuation. So kadalasan yun ang tawag, voltage fluctuation. So as defined by Philippine Distribution Code, a decrease in root mean square value of between 10% to 90% of the nominal value of voltage for duration of half cycle to 1 minute. So kadalasan napakabilis lang ng voltage sag, so usually split second nga, no? And typical cause are starting of large loads, starting of motor, and fault on either distribution and transmission system. We can say that voltage sags are inherent in our electrical system. These power quality disturbances are undesirable yet unavoidable due to the very nature of our electrical system. So, in general, whether or not voltage sag may cause a problem on the customer's operation will depend on the magnitude and duration of the sag and on the sensitivity of the customer's equipment. Let me illustrate the voltage sag problem. I have here the power supply chain, so from generation, transmission, down to the end-use equipment. Given the overhead nature of our electrical system and our line being bare conductor, any fault in the network may result to power disturbances of varying magnitude and duration, depending on the type and proximity of fault. So these are the common causes of voltage sag in the electrical system. So later, Sir Joseph will present the line maintenance activities in order to minimize the occurrence of these disturbances. So, but please take note, kahit 24/7 i-maintain ni Meralco yung line natin, no, we can't zero out these disturbances. May lulusot at lulusot pa rin. Kaya nga kami, usually, it takes two-pronged approach. Fortify the line side to minimize the occurrence of disturbances, and at the same time, strengthen the tolerance of your load side equipment. So to ensure the continuity of your machine operation. So later on naman, mag-share naman si Sir Hans of MServ regarding the load side solutions for these power quality problems. So let me share with you a checklist for maintaining an acceptable power quality. So number 1, begin power quality management during planning and design stage of facility construction. So yun, tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, mas maganda at the design stage ma-consider na natin yung power quality para yung mga equipment that we will purchase within standard limits, match yung rating, and at the same time, pati yung tolerance. Next, track and monitor power disturbances in your facility. So, for ease of troubleshooting, mas maganda meron tayong record of power disturbances. Ilista nyo lang yung date, time, and affected equipment para you can validate with Meralco through your respective relationship managers para ma-validate natin kung sa line side ba galing yung trouble or it only emanates on your load side. Yeah. Number 3, ensure that your voltage setting are compatible with the relevant power quality standards found in the Philippine Distribution Code. So, ito marami kaming napapansin na usual trouble sa load side dahil lang sa sensitive setting ng mga protections. So, might as well i-check natin yung setting, baka naman konting adjustment lang, ma-solve na natin yung problem. So, next, conduct power quality assessment of your facility before adding new equipment or electrical load. So, very important din ito na magkaroon tayo ng baseline monitoring para ma-assess natin kung yung idadagdag ba natin na equipment, siya yung nag-cause ng power quality problem. So, yeah, mas maganda meron tayong monitoring. Number 5, ensure that your equipment's voltage protection setting are within the allowed distribution utility supply voltage variation. And lastly, for safety, put up warning signage to identify potential hazards on panel boards, switchboard, transformer, enclosure doors, and other energized control panels. So basically, that's for safety. Yeah. So think about it. Even without buying power quality conditioning equipment, we may be already paying for it from the cost associated with equipment failure, no? Particularly if our equipment operation is somewhat sensitive. So we might as well consider installing PQ conditioning equipment to protect our sensitive loads in order to ensure continuous operation and avoid costly downtime. So commonly, this power conditioning equipment can also help in extending the lifespan of your equipment. So with that, together, we can find a win-win solution to your power quality problems. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Torres, for that very insightful presentation. Now, for those of you who may want a copy of Mr. Torres's presentation, a recording of this webinar will be uploaded onto the Meralco website. So once the link is available, it will be shared with all of our registered attendees. And also, if you have any comments or questions on our presentations, please feel free to go ahead and type them into the Q&A tab, which you can access below. Okay, we're going to be addressing them later on during our panel discussion. But meanwhile, it's time to play a quick trivia challenge where we're going to be asking a question based on the presentation of Mr. Torres. So all you need to do is to type in your answer into the chat box, and whoever sends in the correct answer ahead of everybody else, that person will get to win a very special prize. So listen up, because here now is our very first trivia question. What is one common cause of voltage sag? Go ahead and type in your answers into the chat box now. Okay, very, very quick to respond. Thank you very much. But we are looking for 7 or 8 possible correct answers here. So if you were able to answer any of these, how do you say this, options, and if you are the first person to type it in, you will get to win a special prize. So we're going to cut it off in a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and that is it. If you answered any of these very quickly, you stand a chance to win a very special prize. Ito po ang mga correct answers. Lightning or inclement weather, trees or vegetation, animals, kites, ongoing construction, and vehicular accidents. Again, the winner for this trivia question will be announced at the end of this afternoon's program. So the best of luck to all of you. Thank you very much once again for participating. Okay, so with that out of the way, we now move on to our next presentation. Our speaker will be sharing some of the measures Meralco has put in place in order to manage power quality for its customers. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for our biz partner manager from Meralco, Mr. Joseph Casanova.
Thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joseph Casanova, your Biz Partner Manager from Meralco Biz Partners. Okay. So after the very informative discussion of Engineer Al on what power quality is and its common issues, we will now discuss the different measures Meralco puts in place to further manage power quality. So we all know that electricity is very significant in most business operations. So thus, having a reliable supply of electricity is a must. So poor power quality can cause major disruption in production, which could result to opportunity loss, or worse, incur wastage and additional expenses. So with that, allow me to go through some of the preventive measures, interventions, and activities taken by Meralco to address these issues. So as an overview, we will discuss preventive measures done by Meralco. Then we will also discuss equipment and materials that can improve the reliability of service. Okay, so let's start. So the first preventive measure we do is to conduct thermal scanning on the distribution lines and facilities. So once we detect any overheating or any signs of abnormalities during thermal scanning, we will immediately schedule maintenance activities to correct and rectify this. So sabi nga nila, no, prevention is better than cure. And early detection is the key. So dapat bago pa mangyari ang trouble, maunahan na natin. Next, we also do test ground resistance of our poles. So this will ensure efficient grounding which protects our lines and facilities. So especially during lightnings or thunderstorms. So we ensure that our grounding is within the allowable resistance needed for effective and safe dissipation of induced electrical energy. So technically 10 ohms dapat at most yung mga ground resistance natin. Next, we also do tree trimming. So did you know that our primary lines are bare? So this means that when branches touch our primary lines, this cause a fault which could result to power outages or brownouts. So Meralco, we had a dedicated team for tree trimming activities. So to maintain a safe clearance between our lines and the trees. So especially in highly vegetated areas. So usually 3 meters yung minemaintain namin dito. No? So usually mga industries na affected sa ganitong scenarios are piggeries and poultries located dun sa mga far-flung areas or rural areas. Pero take note, kahit nasa urban or provincial areas ang business natin, we highly encourage reporting any trees that are too near our primary lines. As we all are all connected by the same circuit. So kahit na sa bundok pa mangyari yung fault, mararamdaman pa din natin yan pagdating dito sa urban areas. Next. So Meralco also conducts distribution transformer load testing. So which basically checks whether the distribution transformer serving our customer is still within efficient loading. So normally around 80% loading po tayo dito. So once overloading is found, we will have to correct this by reviewing the accounts and the contracted capacity connected to that transformer. So we will then collaborate with you or the affected customers for need to upgrade if necessary. So para na din po ito sa kaligtasan ninyo, kaligtasan ng facilities natin, at sa further na pag-improve pa ng ating power quality. So next activity naman ng Meralco is pole inspection. So Meralco inspects the integrity of the pole. So for any foreign objects, abnormalities, or any defects which may need replacement or correction. So typical example nito is to check which areas still have wooden poles so that we can replace this with concrete poles, or checking of poles with crack. So pag makakita po kayo ng mga poste sa area ninyo na may crack or hindi napapansin ni Meralco, i-report lang din po agad natin para ma-correct din po agad natin bago mag-occur yung trouble. Okay. Next, Meralco has also installed animal deterrents on our electrical lines. So some example of this would be bird spikes on crossarm, as seen on the left, to avoid instances of birds resting on the lines which might result to line-to-ground fault. Can anyone guess another animal that frequently causes circuit tripping or fluctuations? Believe it or not, it's the snake. So, hindi ko rin alam no kung bakit tuwang-tuwa silang umakyat sa mga poste ng Meralco. So, we have also installed cones as seen on the right to protect our lines from snake. So, ayan. So, aside from those preventive measures discussed, Meralco has also installed equipment and materials used to improve power quality. So first is the installation of overhead shield wire or overhead static wire. So this serves as the first line of defense from lightning and other foreign objects that may come in contact with our primary line. So makikita nyo to sa pinakataas na portion ng pole assembly natin. Okay, so the next one is the adjustment of distribution transformer tap changer. So since the voltage of customers varies depending on the distance from the substation, our transformers are equipped with this tap changer to make sure that voltage serving our customer is well within the plus minus 10% na allowable voltage variation as discussed by Engineer Al a while ago. Okay, next. So here, another is the installation of automatic voltage regulators or AVRs. There are areas where there are concern on voltage, and one solution being implemented is the installation of AVRs. Pero usually last resort na namin ito no pag hindi na talaga masolusyonan yung voltage doon sa isang area. So nag-i-install din tayo niyan. Okay. As mentioned a while ago, no, primary lines are usually bare. So we are now also converting bare lines to covered or insulated overhead lines. So we commonly call it in Meralco as three-wire, three as in puno, because this will address transient faults due to trees, vegetations, animals, and other activities near our lines. So like construction near Meralco facilities. So kahit dumikit yung gamit nila doon is hindi agad magti-trip yung linya. Pero we discourage pa rin. Let's work safely. Lumayo tayo do sa primary lines natin. Okay. So next. So another material being used is fiberglass crossarms. So since fiberglass is not conductor of electricity, this will prevent or minimize the line-to-ground fault from animals such as bird resting on Meralco poles. So, yan. Okay. So, with all these interventions, no, still the best way to manage power quality is through collaboration. So, managing power quality is a joint effort between distribution utility and customers. So, on your part, it is necessary for you to understand your equipment. So, its specifications, ratings, to align with the distribution utility supply. So proper grounding and coordination of protective devices are also necessary. Okay. So, and with that being said, if your company is experiencing any issue with power quality, please book a pre-power consult with us so that we can discuss the best way forward. So during this energy consultation, we can discuss and provide initial analysis of your concern, and connect you with energy service companies, one of which is our next speaker, the MServe. Okay. So, and this ends my presentation. So again, please reach out to us for a pre-power consult through the following contact details flashed on your screen. And just like other business owners who we have helped, let Meralco Biz power a brighter tomorrow for your business. And again, this is Joseph Casanova. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Casanova. Fantastic presentation. Nice to be able to share this event with you. Hopefully next time sa live event na po tayo ulit magsasama, Sir Joseph, no? Okay, so once again, just worth mentioning one more time, to get a copy of Mr. Casanova's presentation, a recording of this webinar will be uploaded onto the Meralco website, and the link will be shared with our attendees as soon as it is available. So if you have any questions for Mr. Casanova, please send them in through our Q&A tab, which you can access below. But in the meantime, here is another trivia challenge lifted from Mr. Casanova's presentation. So again, get ready to type in your answers into the chat box. The quickest correct answer will get to win a special prize. So pay attention, everybody. Here is question number 2. Name at least one preventive measure being implemented by Meralco to manage power quality. So again, please type in your answers in the chat box right now. First one to send the correct answer wins a prize. 6 possible correct answers that we're looking for. Paunahan po ito. Quickest to provide us with a correct answer will get to win. So even if you guys are starting to type in all your answers, in the interest of time, we're going to cut it off in 3, 2, 1, and there you have it. Thank you again in advance to all of you. Here are the 6 possible correct answers that we are looking for. Thermal scanning of distribution lines and facilities, pole ground resistance testing, tree trimming, distribution transformer, DT, load testing, pole inspection, and installation of animal deterrents. So congratulations again in advance to the lucky person who got this right the quickest. Once again, please wait till the end of the program where we're going to be announcing the official list of winners. Okay, our next guest speaker comes from EMSERV, one of the country's largest energy management companies providing integrated energy solutions to its customers. He will be sharing with us EMSERV services and solutions that can address power quality issues. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for the Power Quality and Systems Head from EMSERV, Mr. Hans Degay.
Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Kevin. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Hans Degay, the Power Quality System Head at EMSERV. As discussed by my fellow speakers, Engineer Al and Engineer Joseph, on what power quality is and the current mitigation techniques done at the load side, now let us explore how power quality solutions can safeguard and future-proof your business at the load side. EMSERV stands as a premier electromechanical contractor in the Philippines. Our goal is to provide innovative solutions for optimizing energy usage. With the solid backing of Meralco's century-long experience, we're here to introduce you to a world of efficiency and reliability. So why choose us in the first place? We prioritize the 3 things: quality assurance, timely execution, competitive pricing. For unwavering dedication to ensure the highest standards, we prioritize customer satisfaction, efficient project management for on-time delivery, and of course, tailored cost-effective solutions. These slides cover our expertise here in EMSERV, namely energy, indoor air quality or IEQ, safety and auxiliaries, operations and maintenance, and the new kid on the block, smart city and automation. We offer end-to-end solutions to address your needs. We can enter at any point of a project of the facility, such as design, may it be build, operations, to name a few. Going back to the topic for this afternoon, power quality is a business problem. So let us move a little bit from the technical aspect and relate the power quality to the business. I hope you guys could relate to this more, as power quality is actually a business problem. Power quality problems should not be considered or isolated solely on the technical field. It should be considered a business problem as well. So for context, an industrial manufacturing plant can have downtime due to power quality problems. This leads to domino effect, not only on the equipment, but it also in productivity loss, goals not met, delays, commitments to clients not achieved, lost revenue, and of course, loss of trust. This was further clarified by Engineer Al earlier, but I'd like to highlight that there is a standard by Electric Power Research Institute on the typical PQ phenomena. 46% actually comes from voltage sag. This takes a huge part of the pie already, as you can see. Next component mostly are short voltage variations, such as voltage swells and transients. Voltage sags actually also belongs to that group. So what are voltage variations in the first place? This was also mentioned earlier by Engineer Al, but basically they are fast voltage variations from half cycle to few seconds to up to a minute. Anything beyond that is already considered long voltage variation. So sometimes sinasabi under voltage, over voltage na matayan kami ng equipment, but actually it could be a fluctuation lang. Other factors are also harmonics and frequency variations, line noises, and outages, amounting to around 5%. So first of all, we need to determine what is the facilities experiencing. The approach is to first understand the power quality problem. This is done by knowing and how to target the potential power quality problem by measuring, and in order to recommend solutions and implement the solutions effectively. There are many products available to minimize power quality issues. However, since it entails capital costs, here is a quick overview on the cost implication. If the source of the problem could be identified or there are specific equipment that are sensitive to power fluctuations, then the solution can be minimized if installed near the equipment. As we go more upstream, syempre mas mahal. The cost will increase. For example, if you want the entire facility to be protected from voltage sags, naturally, the cost will be significantly higher than just protecting a single load. Often, other loads such as lightings can be neglected. So on the following slides, let's discuss some power quality equipment. First of all is harmonic filters or active harmonic filters. Active harmonic filters can be related to noise cancelling headphones, wherein for noise cancelling headphones, it has a built-in microphone to analyze the noise waves and generates opposing sound waves to reduce the surrounding sound. For active harmonic filter, it actively monitors the harmonic levels and via current transformer, injects opposing current to reduce and eliminate harmonics. There are multiple options, and we could size accordingly to the needs. They are very easy to install and easy to maintain. Active filters are constantly monitoring your current grid and putting out current to counterbalance the harmful harmonics. This results in clean power and smooth operation of your facility. It should be noted that not all harmonic filters are equal. When selecting harmonic filter, there is a need to know the derating factor because it can dictate the selected equipment is actually insufficient or undersized to mitigate the harmonic systems. In this graph, it can be seen that some harmonic filter can drop off on the 7th harmonic, which is one of the most common harmonics in the field, due to 6-pulse rectifier, VFDs, and the like. Here are some key segments. Harmonics are generated by nonlinear load. And if we look into your facility, you would know that mostly electronic component is basically the source of the harmonics, since they have switching actuation on their components. Some key segments are energy, water treatment, industry, such as manufacturing, data center, commercial buildings, and even medical facilities. So anything with harmonics that are quite sensitive can need harmonic filters. So dito naman tayo sa largest pie in the power quality problem, which is voltage sag. it is quite difficult to maintain since the grid is open to both internal and external, which could cause voltage sags, or more commonly referred to as fluctuations. It should be noted that this distinction between short voltage variation and long voltage variation is always done to determine the appropriate solution. For short voltage variations such as voltage sags, an active power or voltage conditioner can mitigate this. This type of equipment do not have external energy storage and will rely on existing voltage and boost it back up to normal operation levels. This equipment is designed to capture short duration voltage variation that may be damaging already to the equipment, as per SEMI F47 or ITIC tolerance curve, or similar standards that your current equipment are using. On the other hand, UPS have energy storage. UPS of data centers usually make use of battery energy storage as they are designed for long duration but not outright power such as motors. This is where UPS with ultracapacitors takes place if it's an outburst of power such as motor loads and not really designed for long duration interruptions, just for protecting the equipment from fluctuation so that there is a time to shut down the equipment. When dealing with voltage mismatch present in the facility, AVR can help maintain the voltage levels to appropriate level of the equipment. It should be noted that this is not designed for voltage sags. Step-down transformers can also be used but AVR is better in regulating to a desired voltage level as long as it meets the range of the specification. Although step-up or step-down transformers can also be used, thorough study must be done because voltage levels do fluctuate. It should be noted that voltage mismatch actually affects the relay setting as they are more sensitive to tripping if there is a voltage mismatch. This was also discussed by the previous speaker na yun nga, kung ginamit niyo po is 380 volt equipment on a 400 volt system, your relays might have been set by the supplier on the 300 volt system. So there may be frequent overvoltage detected by the OV relay that could cause tripping to your equipment. So it goes hand in hand that you need to regulate the voltage properly to the equipment levels and set accordingly the relays so that there would be no nuisance tripping. The next item is capacitor bank, more commonly known to improve the power factor of the facility. Not only is it possible to avoid surcharge penalties and discount instead, the overall kVA load of the facility is reduced. This means that current passing to the cables and upstream the capacitors is lower and less stress, such as cables, transformers, etc. But it also should be noted that capacitor banks can create resonance. That's why part of the solution to these are harmonic filters to avoid resonance and avoid further problems with your power quality. Thorough study should be done when determining which power quality equipment to be used. On the next slide is for TVSS SPD, the transient voltage surge suppressor or SPD for surge protective device. Actually, the term TVSS tends to be more popular in countries that adhere to the UL standard. Although TVSS always belonged to a larger group of surge protection, beginning in 2008 NEC, the term SPD formally replaced the labels for both TVSS and secondary surge arresters. So there is a difference with the lightning arrestor that we commonly see because SPD is designed to protect low voltage electric system from damaging transients. It is a supplementary measure that the arresters eliminates the direct invasion of lightning wave if the arrestor fails to eliminate all the lightning wave. So things to remember. Power quality is an important aspect in the economic operations of the system. Various power quality problems may lead to another undesirable problems. Proper mitigation devices can be used to maintain the level of power quality as desired. And as the recap, to achieve power quality problem-free facility, the following is recommended. First, conduct power quality analysis to determine the exact nature of the problem. So susukat po tayo para malaman. Basically, we either recommend it to install at the upstream to determine the incoming power. And then if you have a suspect load, we determine it by measuring at at the point of a problem. For example, a specific motor, specific branch. And then if you determine all your equipment which are sensitive and not, you can segment your facilities by classifying them as non-critical loads, sensitive loads, and critical loads. By then, you would know which one to protect. Choose and implement solutions to protect the facility from power quality problems. So that ends my presentation. Thank you for attending the session. As we wrap up our discussion on power quality, I'd like to return our spotlight to our esteemed host, Mr. Kevin. Thank you.
How kind of you. Thank you very much, Mr. Degay, for that wonderful presentation. To the esteemed, I should say, Mr. Degay. We're going to hear from him in just a little while. But before that, as we've already done after our previous speakers, we move on to our third and last trivia question for this afternoon. So if you feel like you answered a little bit slower earlier, now is your final chance to be able to bring home a special prize. Okay, so with that, please pay attention, everybody. Here is our trivia question number 3. Name at least one power quality solution from MServ. Go ahead and type in your answers right now. First one to get it right wins a prize. All right, pabilisan po ulit ito. But we're not going to be able to give you guys the whole day to answer. Just a few more seconds before we reveal our 6 possible correct answers. 3, 2, 1, and that is it. Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong lahat. So pay attention, because if you answered any of these, you stand a chance to win a prize. Here are our answers for this question. Active harmonic filter, or AHF, active voltage conditioner, or AVC, or sag corrector, uninterruptible power supply, or UPS, automatic voltage regulator, or AVR, automatic power factor correction with capacitor bank, and transient voltage surge suppressor, or TVSS, or surge protective devices, or SPD. Thank you again for your active participation. Please stay tuned, as our trivia winners will be announced before we end this afternoon's program. Okay? And with that, I believe our attendees have already posted some comments and questions directed to our resource speakers. So this now brings us to our panel discussion for this afternoon. So with that, let's call back our guest speakers for today, Mr. Al Torres, Mr. Joseph Casanova, and as you've seen him earlier, Mr. Hans Degay. Good afternoon, everybody. Maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong tatlo for sharing with us some very insightful information for our topic today. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is I will be reading out some questions sent in to all of you, and naka-direct na po ito sa inyong tatlo. But at any point during this whole discussion, if you feel like you want to chime in or add to the questions, even though these aren't addressed to you, feel free to add lang po. Okay? So right now, we move to our first question. This is to you, Sir Al. How do I know if my facility has power quality problems?
Thank you for the question. Actually, the best indicator that our facility has a power quality problem is if you're experiencing equipment malfunction or equipment shutdown. So, in the absence of power quality monitoring, a simple light flickering may already suggest a presence of power quality problem. So, yung simpleng kurap lang ng ilaw, kung madalas nangyayari yun, so pwede nating masabi na you have a power quality problem sa inyong facility.
Thank you, Sir Al. So that's very interesting to point out, because usually if nag-flicker yung light bulb, baka isipin mo, baka pundido na yung light bulb. But it might be something deeper, no? So worth looking into as well. Okay, question number 2 para sa inyo po to, Sir Joseph. Can I consult with Meralco first on PQ concerns before I engage with MServ?
Of course, you can consult first with us. No, we can initially check if the problem is on Meralco side through our available data. Pero in any case that the data is not readily available, we can install data logger or power quality analyzer to install at your premise for a week or 2 for us to have more conclusive findings. At tama din ang solution na mailapat natin. If ever we found out na beyond the meter na po ang problem, we can now collaborate with MServ for a specific PQ solutions applicable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Joseph. So it's very efficient din pala, no, na dumiretso muna sila sa inyo, and then you will recommend if you will proceed with MServe to deal with the problem. No? Thank you, Sir Joseph. Okay, next question sa inyo po ito, Mr. Hans. What is the power quality solution recommended for voltage mismatch between incoming supply and rating of the electrical equipment such as motors? Sir Hans.
Thank you for the question. So AVR is recommended to help adjust the voltage up or down to the appropriate level requirement. However, there is a limitation based on the rating of the equipment. It is also possible to use step up or step down transformer, and top changer is also possible. However, proper calculations must be made. So best if you consult with an expert to, like us, like MServe, to conduct the study for you. Typical voltage mismatch is wherein the design does not match the equipment purchased, and it also does not match the applied application with Meralco. So there is some disconnect leading to voltage mismatch. By then, we need to determine what is the actual needed of the equipment and then install appropriate AVRs or step up or step down transformers.
Okay, Sir Hans, thank you very much for that response for a very specific question. Now, just in case, for the people watching right now, if you feel like an answer is pretty broad, and if you want us to elaborate a little more, i-type nyo lang po sa Q&A tab below. We'll try our best to answer all of the questions that you send in within this period of time. Okay, so now we move on to our next question. Now, this is a little bit more broad. So, Sir Al, para sa inyo po ito, feel free to extrapolate as you feel needed. Okay, which power quality issue should we prioritize or pay most attention to?
So magandang question yan, no, Kevin. So actually, ang the best makakapagsabi niyan is yung sa operations team ng isang customer. Kasi mas familiar sila doon sa mga processes nila and din sa mga production equipment. Pero based dun sa kanina, actually, present ni Sir Hans, we recommend prioritizing the most critical equipment and the most critical process. So most often, this critical equipment, when disrupted, will incur huge downtime loss. So thus, kung masolve natin to, magkakaroon tayo ng malaking impact dun sa customer's operation.
Okay, very essential to get to hear it from you also. Thank you very much, Sir Al. Kasi kayo din po nakaka-recommend how to efficiently address all these concerns without, you know, hindering too much of the operations of the client, diba? Okay, now we move on to our next question, Sir Hans. We're going back to you here. What is the power quality solution recommended for fluctuations caused by short duration voltage variation?
Actually, ito yung pinaka-common na reklamo, yung nagfa-fluctuate daw yung supply ng facility. Pero first, we need to determine, actually magpa-power quality analysis muna to determine kung fluctuation nga ba talaga yung na-experience ng facility. The solutions to that is active voltage conditioner or UPS, depending on the magnitude and duration of the sag or interruption na ba talaga siya. The UPS is for sustained power outage, while active voltage conditioner or sag corrector is more on short duration voltage variation. So unlike UPS, yung active voltage conditioner does not need an energy storage. So designed siya to improve the voltage sag by boosting remaining voltage. So limitation does exist. Hindi niya kayang from 0% gagawin niyang 100%. Typically, yung 40% sag ang kaya niya. Ibuboost niya to 100%. But on the other hand, the UPS needs external storage, and it can be from 0 voltage, as in talagang bumagsak yung power quality, power natin as a whole for 1 second or 2. But ang UPS kasi din hindi din siya created equally. There is a battery UPS designed dun sa mga computers, data centers, servers, and which makes use of battery nga. And ultra capacitors ang gamit ng mga UPS na mas mahal, may kamahalan sila for bigger loads. Kasi ang mga motors natin may mga inrush current, hindi yan kaya ng typical UPS. Dapat mga industry grade UPS. So it could be either sag corrector na active voltage conditioner or industry class na UPS. Yun po ang recommendation typically sa short duration voltage variation. But as said, kailangan po mag-power quality analysis tayo, maybe from us or from kung meron na kayong data ni Meralco, to ensure lang na yun talaga yung problem ng facility.
Okay, very well said. Thank you very much, Sir Hans. Now, moving on to the next question. Actually, this can be answered by either you, Sir Hans, or kayo din po, Sir Al. So feel free if you want to chime in for this question. Are there any fees for conducting analysis for power quality?
Actually, si Sir Joseph na nabanggit niya kanina na they could actually do it for Meralco, and I believe there is no fee if Meralco conducts it. However, that is also on the line side only. For the load side, MServe conduct, but we do charge fees for MServe. However, if you get a mitigation plan or power quality solution from us, we normally waive the pre-existing charge for the power quality analysis. For example, we install power quality analysis on a load, and then you purchase us the solution that recommended. Normally, we give a discount on the power quality solution based on the power quality analysis that we conducted. Pinapalibre na namin siya basically. But maybe Sir Joseph or Sir Al can give insights on how to get this power quality analysis from Meralco din.
Just to add lang dun sa binanggit ni Sir Hans. So, actually yung in-depth load side power quality study. So, talagang may cost siya. So, pwede mo siyang mai-request sa mga ESCOs tulad nga ni MServe. However, pwede rin naman kayong magpatulong with Meralco para dun sa initial diagnostics ng problem, no? Tulad nga ng nabanggit nila Sir Hans and Sir Joseph, pwede kayong mag-request sa Meralco ng baseline monitoring. So usually yun, nagkakandak ng 1-week monitoring just to validate kung sa line side ba o sa load side ba yung problem. And then, ang pinaka-output nun, magpo-provide kami ng report with findings and recommendations. And then that's the time na kayo na yung mag-i-implement ng solution para doon.
Thank you, Sir Al. Kayo po, Sir Joseph, anything you'd like to add to that as well?
So yun, no? Tama yung sinabi ni Engineer Al and Engineer Hans, no? So sa side ni Meralco, nagkakandak din kami ng first validation to check kung saan ang gagaling talaga yung trouble. And if in any case malaman natin na sa load side nang gagaling yon, then that's the time na we will advise you to consult an ESCO. Pero sa side ni Meralco, wala naman pong bayad yon. Kaya lang, hindi siya more on sa line side talaga yung yung tinitingnan ni Meralco for the distribution utility side. Then sa load side talaga, more on si MServe na po talaga yon.
All right,
Thank you.
Sir Joseph, thank you very much. Glad to see. Gandang collab yun. Kayong tatlo sinagot niyo yung question na yun. Kala niyo very simple question, but then it was a collaboration between the three of you. So thank you very much. Same with the preceding questions. Kung may gusto din kayo idagdag with the answers, feel free to do so. Okay? Our next question goes back to you, Sir Joseph. If my new technologies and quality measures that are being implemented, may additional charge po ba sa bill?
Okay. So usually, hindi naman kami nag-charge dun sa mga customers, no? Halimbawa, may kailangan palitan na poste or na may crack na or merong mga tree trimming request, hindi naman kami nag-charge sa customer. So basically, we encourage everyone na pag nakakita nito, i-report agad sa amin. Kasi part na yon ng responsibility namin as distribution utility to address yung mga potential na threat doon sa system natin or doon sa power quality natin. Kaya i-correct natin lahat ng makikita natin na problem doon sa line side para at least mas safe tayo, mas reliable yung system natin. So when it comes to costing regarding that, wala naman po tayo with sa papasok sa bill natin.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sir Joseph. And again, worth reminding to everybody again, please continue to send in all your questions. We will try our best to answer all of them. But sa mga hindi po natin masasama for this period in the program, don't worry. Even beyond this afternoon's program, a representative from Meralco will reach out to you to address any question or comments that you send our way. Okay? So now, We move on to our next question. Sa inyo po ulit ito, Sir Joseph. Maaari po ba mag-request ng tree trimming sa loob ng subdivision kahit medyo malayo naman po sa linya ng Meralco? Is there any charge to this, if ever?
Okay. So tulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, no, wala namang charge yung tree trimming natin. Kaya lang, yung nabanggit ko sa presentation a while ago, mine-maintain kasi namin is yung 3 meters na distance from our primary line. Kasi sa dami ng linya natin sa Meralco, iniikutan talaga to ng mga crew natin para ma-maintain. Beyond doon sa 3 meters na yon is hindi na sakop noong responsibility ni Meralco. Pero may instances na ina-accommodate ganyan. Pero most of the time, nakalimit tayo doon sa 3 meters to make sure lang na yung linya natin is safe from any foreign objects na tatama. So, yun lang po. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Sir Joseph. Baka mag-contact po kami sa inyo kasi medyo lumalapit na rin sa linya ng Meralco sa mga puno namin.
Hindi naman po kailangan sukatin.
Okay,
Report
thank you
lang,
very
report
much.
lang.
Okay. Mukhang babad po kayo dito sa mga questions natin, Sir Joseph, because the very next question that I'm going to be reading out is also for you. Can we request for a PQ study even though we are not still sure if we have a PQ problem? So this is for you, Sir Joseph, but Sir Al, kung meron din po kayo maidadagdag, feel free to do so.
Okay. So, yung normal, no, based on our experiences as a frontliner, so meron talagang na-experience yung customer bago tayo makapag-conduct ng evaluation doon sa system nila. Kasi ang problem is there is a schedule from our crew. Marami po tayong customer na sineserve and limited din po yung mga devices na ginagamit natin. Pero ano po, pre-room power consult natin, kung ano yung available na data, tingnan natin kung ano yung ma-deduct natin from that. And let's move forward kung papaano natin mas ma-i-improve pa yung system ninyo. Pero ang mahirap po kasi pag yung wala talagang signs or trouble na na-encounter yung customer is yung yung scheduling, saka po yung mga nakalinya pa na mayroong mga concerns na mga customers. So baka po matagalan yung mga concerns pagdating sa ganong mga cases. Pero once na may ma-encounter kayo na trouble, reach out lang agad sa amin. Address po agad natin, tingnan natin kung paano natin masusolusyonan. So,
Very
yun lang
helpful.
po.
Thank you very much, Sir Joseph. Sir Al, kayo po, anything that you might want to add to that?
I-add ko lang doon sa binanggit ni Sir Joseph, no. Actually, pwede naman yun nga yung mga PQ assessment lang, no. Kumbaga kung for example, meron kang idadagdag na equipment tapos gusto mo magpa-baseline monitoring. So, yun nga, pwede naman siya i-accommodate ni Meralco. However, yun nga, medyo limited din kasi yung number of PQAs. So, hindi siya yung readily available kaagad. Dahil nga marami rin kaming mga customers na ina-attendan yung concerns nila, no. Pero rest assured na pagka bakante naman yung equipment and pwede siyang i-install sa inyo, sa concern nyo, pwede naman, kumbaga pwede naman siya i-accommodate. Kontakin nyo lang yung inyong respective relationship managers.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sir Al. So as much as we would have wanted to entertain more of your questions, at least for this period of the program, in the interest of time, we have to cut it off at this point. So with that, thank you very much once again to everybody who sent in your questions. Babalikan po namin kayo beyond today's program to answer all of your questions and concerns. So with that, we'd like to thank one more time our panel of very esteemed individuals, Mr. Torres, Mr. Casanova, Mr. Degay. Maraming salamat po sa inyong tatlo. But before we let you guys go, hopefully you can share with us some parting words, okay? So we can start with you first. Mr. Al Torres, anything you can share with all of our guests this afternoon?
Ayan. So let me reiterate na that maintaining power quality is a joint effort na. Rest assured that we, Meralco, is striving to maintain system reliability and meet power quality standards that are mandated by ERC and as prescribed by the Philippine Distribution Code. No? Please note na kapag yung mga equipment natin humihinto, so ganun din, si Meralco humihinto rin yung metro namin. So that's why we're extending our assistance to the customer, even though some of the problems are mostly load side. So, and by promoting power quality awareness through webinars such as this, we can say that almost half of the power quality concern of the customer have already been addressed. No? Power quality awareness is the key. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sir Al. Mr. Joseph Casanova, any parting words for our guests?
Okay. So for me, ano din, halos same nung kay Engineer Al, no? I just want to emphasize on the joint responsibility between stakeholders. So Meralco and customers in addressing power quality issues. So most problems are very unique per customer. So depending on the industry, type of operation, or machines involved. So we really need to collaborate to evaluate the true issue and to come up with the specific solutions correctly. So just feel free to reach us through our Power Consult. Pag-uusapan po natin yan. So yun lang po. Thank you. And God
Thank you
bless.
din po, Sir Joseph. Really appreciate it. And last but definitely not the least, Mr. Hans Tegay. Sir, the floor is yours.
I'd like to take a moment to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my fellow speakers, the gracious hosts, and of course to each and every member of our engaged audience. Sabi nga nilang dalawa, ni Engineer Al and Engineer Joseph, na it's a joint effort. So since Meralco is doing our part, we look forward to the exciting journey ahead as we future-proof your business with power quality solutions. Choose MServe na lang kapag magpupursue kayo ng power quality solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Degay. So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to our esteemed and gracious panel of speakers. A virtual round of applause, Mr. Torres, Mr. Casanova, Mr. Degay. Maraming salamat po sa inyong tatlo. So with that was certainly a very informative discussion, and we hope that this exchange was able to enlighten us all on power quality concerns and help you understand its relevance in ensuring safe and continuous business operations. And once again, for those of you who have questions that we weren't able to address during our Q&A session, we're going to be reaching out to you after today's program. Okay, and you may also encode all of your concerns or requests through our concerns form via the link posted in our chat box. Or you may also scan the QR code, which is now on screen. Feel free to take a picture of this as well for easy reference. And in case you have other power-related inquiries, you may also reach out to our biz partner managers through the channels also being flashed on the screen right now. So with all that out of the way, we wrap up today's program. You have certainly been a most cooperative audience, and it has truly been an insightful afternoon, to say the least. I hope all of you learned a lot from our distinguished panel of speakers, as did I. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope to see you again in the next edition of Meralco Power Up Live, Empowering Business Growth. Once again, I've been your host, Kevin La Peña. Be safe, everybody, and have a good afternoon. Maraming salamat po.